Right. This is what if Deku was the Watcher? Um, right off the bat, Deku will be born with two quirks, and of course, this will be scriptless right now, so this might be, very short. So yeah, so Deku is born with two quirks. An information gathering quirk. Nah, never mind. Scratch that. He gets a hacker quirk. And knowing that, he also gets a intelligence quirk. So he has a hacker quirk, intelligence quirk. So it's very dangerous. Good man. Let's just skip to let's just skip. When he's 4, when he finds this out. So Naruto gets knows this, and he gets excited, but the dog, and goes man, these quirks can be turn out very poorly, very quick. He could become a great villain with these quirks. Not, kind of just thinking, not realizing that any quirk can make anyone a villain, and any quirk can make anyone a hero. All Might could be a pretty strong villain, but no one talks about it because he's the #1 hero. Hell, same with Bakugo. Any quirk can do that, really. But they turn around on the head, making them a hero. But yeah, she doesn't realize that though. She thinks, that Deku might become, a villain. So she gets extremely fearful, and she disowns him and drops him off at the orphanage. And of course, Deku still remembers this, and he's incredibly saddened, but also has a little bit of hatred for her because of it. At his time in the orphanage, kids will mysteriously go missing and come back the next day, completely traumatized and scared. And one of the staff there, he was pretty creepy towards all the children. And the staff there, they didn't care. How they knew what he was doing to the kids. When Deku found out, well, that made Deku extremely mad. So he ran away. He ran away from the orphanage. He couldn't do anything. He was only 4. He ran away. And, he stumbled upon a family. That family took him in. Took him in. And, they brought him back home with them and, said, "Hey, Shinso, come look at your new little brother." And, obviously this is Shinso's family. They do with the mic control. And so, sorry, it's actually extremely late, and it's a school night. It's 54, it's 12:54 in the morning, and it's a school night, and I'm very tired. So let's try to keep this going. So Shinso comes down, he's pretty lively. So, he's only a 4-year-old. Of course, his quirk was announced to be mind control, and his parents thought that's fine. People could use that for interrogations. Help the cops and heroes. Yeah. Now see, they also know Deku's quirk because he says it. my quirk is hacker and intelligence. And I'm like, oh, that's fine. Yeah, you could also help, by hacking into villains' phones, using your smarts to help the heroes and all that. Try, um, but they meet like this. They think of something like really nice for like quirks they hear. However, if they see something bad happen with those quirks, they think twice and they instantly go on the defensive and hate the person who's done it instantly. Doesn't matter if it was an accident or not. So, moving on. Deku and Shinso become great friends. Move up 2 years to when they're 6. They started school, and they're currently going through primary school. And yeah, Deku of course is the best at it. He's the smartest one there. In fact, Shinso is second, simply just because he's with Deku a lot, and Deku helps him sometimes, so he is second on the board. But eventually, these bullies come out and try to bully Deku, but Shinso is there, and he accidentally uses quirk. And what happens here is Shinso, uses quirk, and he says to one of the bullies that the bully that he mind controlled. He says, "Run away," but the bully, ran into his friend, and that friend, who didn't know he was on mind control, punched him. That snapped the dude out of the mind control and punched back. The third friend, who was trying, he was trying to break up the fight. He got punched and got angry, so it ended up in a old brawl. Both parents were called down. Well, all parents were called down, and yeah. Since it's 3 against 2, they kind of believe the majority here, and Shinso and Deku, since they said that Shinso and Deku working together to beat the hell out of us 3, that's what they said, and the principal called down their parents and said this, and the parents like any parent would do, they kicked them out of the house and disowned them, like any parent would do, obviously. So yeah, Deku goes back on the streets, and Shinso, that was new to him, but since he had Deku, he was kind of fine with it. Of course, not fully, not a lot, but he was somewhat fine with it. So as they're walking along, a new family found them and adopted them, and this time it will be different. They won't be kicked out this time with that family. That'd be pretty funny though. But yeah, they won't be kicked out. Instead, they would still be part of that family and being grateful. However, Deku's hatred, towards people who just kick out their kids just on just because they chose to believe someone else's child or children, without getting any evidence. Of course, the 3 kids had bruises on them, but still, I mean, you could get bruises from anything, really. I didn't even try to check the cameras, so, Deku was extremely mad. That's fine, he got a new family. And of course, this is Momo's family. very rich, and well, they helped Deku and Shinzo out a lot. Now, a time skip from when they were 6 to when they're 11, about to enter intermediate or middle school for most of you. A year away. Deku is top of his class. Momo is second. Shinzo is third. They'll get along great, and I can see this. Yeah. This time, Shinzo was bullied, right? By some people. And, yeah. Same thing happens, Eventually, but all the parents are cooled down, and, principal says what happened. And, the principal believes, the 3 bullies, rather than Deku, Momo, and Shinzo. And that was quite obvious. And Momo, Deku, and Shinzo, and their parents, it's just just Momo's parents, really. They know this and get angry. I don't care, and they get angry. And so when they're leaving, Deku thinks, you know what? I've had enough. So what he does is he takes out his phone, and he tries out one of his quirk, which of course is hacker. He hacks into the principal's phone, and he finds some really disturbing stuff on it. And what he does is he actually saves it to his hard drive, right? And he just leaves. Goes back home. A few months later, when they're about to graduate, primary school, Deku actually sets up, a little show. He has a TV out, a massive TV behind him, and he shows all the dodgy stuff the principal has on his hard drive. And the principal shut it down and actually physically abused Deku, which he does. He punches him straight in the face, knocking him down. The cops are called, and I'm not going to say what the principal had on his hard drive, but let me tell you, it was very illegal, and it just makes it worse that he was in school teaching a bunch of children. That's all I'm going to say. So yeah, so he gets arrested for things on his hard drive, and also beating up a child, a minor, and so he has a law. He goes to jail, and he also pay a fine. Yeah. So that's right before they graduate. So when they passed primary school and go on to middle school, as some of you would say. How we in New Zealand we just call it intermediate, but yeah, a lot of the world just calls it middle school, which fair enough, I get it. Makes sense. But yeah, nah, yeah, when they get there, the previous principal gets wind from what Deku did, and he is kind of scared, but he knows he isn't doing anything dodgy, so he won't get arrested. But he knows that get on Deku's bad side. That's what he learned. Never get on Deku's bad side. You'll be fine. And seeing that the dude actually got arrested for his actions, that made Deku extremely happy. Seeing someone else who's done so bad, so many bad things to different people,
then gets his comeuppance and, well, gets arrested. That overly joys Deku for some reason, of course. So, it, we'll just time skip to the end of middle school, and, everything's basically normal. He isn't bullied or anything, because he isn't. He's still the best. Everything's normal. Everything's the same. At the top there's Deku, then there's Momo, then there's Shinso. That's obvious. Then, the teacher then comes out and says, right, and then reads out, he just normally reads out where they want to go to for the high school. But then when he says UA, he then reads off 3 names, which of course is, Deku, then Momo, then Shinso, of course. And, he says they actually have a pretty good chance, They have pretty good quirks, and they're really smart. And everyone else agrees with this, because, all 3 of them are very nice people, so everyone likes them. Yeah, and, they're also the top students. So everyone at the middle school likes them. Yeah. Now, of course, during middle school, Deku actually has been working out and running, building up his body. Just, because, like, if he needs to go on a physical fight, at least he can, because his quirk doesn't increase his body, it only increases his mind. Yeah, so, what time is it? It's 1:07, okay. So, yeah, sorry, if you heard that, it's just me cracking my knuckles. Yeah, so, yeah, they go, they're going to take the exams, of course, but this is still like what, 7 months until they have to take the exams, I think, so, whatever. They really only use it to use the quirk more, so, they can practice with it more. What Deku does, really, is he reads a book while also using weights and running. So some of the pages do get soggy from the sweat, but it's not that bad. But yeah, that's just so he can train his body as well as train his mind. And it may be illegal, but he still has been training his hacker quirk as well. So yeah, so they do the exams. Deku is top in everything except for like running. Ito won that, of course. Now when it comes to ball throw, I'm not gonna say what he gets or what anyone gets, but he gets 2nd place just before Bakugo, because Bakugo actually used an explosion. When like it was not, using your normal strength and not your quirk, he was 1st place. But when it was like your quirk, he was 2nd. But it still wasn't too bad. However, no, I'm gonna keep going. Yeah, I'm gonna keep going. So, yeah, because I thought maybe, but I'm too good. No, yeah. So let's keep going. So, yeah. So when it comes to the robot test, because I'm saying that I have that now, because I don't remember the order of this tests or what they were, so I don't care anymore. So they do the robot test. They do the robot test now, and man, I'm really going through this, huh? I mean, with Technoblade, I took my time, actually establish like the characters and the world around them. At least with this one, I'm just blazing through it. Whatever, it's fine. Um, yeah. I actually do hope you guys can hear me because I'm not really talking that loud. Then again, I don't really talk loud at all, but it's fine. Um, so yeah, Deku using his hacker quirk, he hacks the robots, and he's using one robot to destroy the others, which is giving him a lot of points. And after that, after he destroyed a lot of robots, he then makes the robot destroy itself. And he's pretty good up there. And the pros are asking what the hell happened. Yeah. Um, and he's about to leave because you can do that if you want to. If you think you have enough points, you can leave and wait for the results. But then he hears someone scream for help. Looks back, and it's a 0 point about to crush a brown haired girl under some rocks. Like I know it's rubble, but I'm gonna say rocks. Keep it simple. Um, he uses hack and quirk again, to hack the 0 pointer, which then made it stop and try and step on her, and take a few steps back and punch itself in the face so hard it destroyed the head, making it fall back on its back, away from Uraraka. Whatever. Everyone knew it was Uraraka anyway. Or maybe not, I mean, last time I changed who it was, but it's fine. So, Deku helped her out, and, it takes her to safety. He then leaves with the results, and he's in Class 1A. And then goes to normal and canon, whatever, good for him, because he has a different quirk, and actually has a quirk this time, but whatever. I'm also gonna say that All Might didn't get his little injury, so he doesn't really need to pass on his quirk. Yeah. So yeah. When they're in class, like the first day of high school, he tries to talk to everyone and meet them and try to be friends with them. This works for everyone, trying to relate to their interests and all that. What it doesn't work out for is Bakugo, which, Bakugo tells him to go away, and, go away and, I don't know, kill someone or something. And that's what he says to him. I don't know, probably because Deku actually does kind of look intimidating. Because, Deku, he has a pretty big build, nothing like All Might, nothing like that, but he still has some muscle on there. He's also, tall. He's like 6'2", 6'2", and a pretty good build. And he does have relatively like short black straight hair. The complete opposite of his canon hair. Yeah, so black short straight hair he has. Yeah, so he does look pretty intimidating. Yeah. Yeah. He actually, he leaves and goes to support people. I forgot what her name was, but they make support items and all that, just to see who's there. And he meets them all. He also meets this one lady with pink hair called May. Now May, he likes her a little bit. Nothing like that, but he thinks she should be a cool friend. Yeah. So yeah. Now we'll fast forward like 1 year, and they go to the camp. No, they go to God, what's the first one? USJ. Go to the USJ and to practice the quirks out. Now, Nacho said Deku said that I can't really, my quirk I can't really advance my quirk there. However, I can advance my body. But no, yeah, you get it. Working out. As I always said, yeah, okay, that's fine. You can do that too. And yeah. So that happens, and yeah, eventually the villains arrive, asking for All Might, and yeah. I'm gonna say this time, they aren't just barehanded using the quirks. They actually do have some technology on them. So Deku, runs and hides. He actually runs out the USJ and climbs a tree right outside so he can see through like the top windows, and no one else can see him. And he actually he actually can, because what the hacker quirk does, no, never mind. Well, wait, yeah, actually, yeah, I'll do that. Sure, why not? He can see somewhat of who they are. Like if he turns it on, he can see like first, last name, and like the height and all that. But he can also like see how to get into your phone. But that's all. Nothing too much. Um, and even then, yeah. So he does that with all of them, and he hacks all of them at the same time, with just his phone. Uh, you know, and what he does there is he actually, without them knowing, he downloads like one of those things that like that he that like tracks your phone. Whatever he does that, he puts like a tracking device on the phone, they download and goes to his phone. So wherever they go, he can see. Um, he does that, but he quickly runs down to like a shop, and he gets a giant hammer. Um, he gets a giant hammer and he pays for it, and he goes back to the USJ. And yeah, he goes back in, and he sees everyone fighting. He runs up to one of them, and he hits him, in the head really hard. Enough to cause like brain damage, but not enough to kill him or seriously injure him. But like he won't be thinking straight from now on. He does that with like every villain there. However, as soon as he tries to do it to Shigaraki though, uh, Kirigiri's there, and he teleports Deku away onto a boat out sea. When he's there, he sees Sue and Mineta. Mineta is extremely freaking out, and he kind of just like tries to shut him up by throwing him overboard, just scare him a little bit. But what he doesn't know is that there's actually villains in the water, and as soon as he looks down, he sees them, and they just rip Mineta to shreds and kills him. He thinks of a plan, and it works because he also has an intelligence quirk. It works, and they get out. They see All Might and the Pro Heroes there, and yeah, everything goes and pretty good there. They Deku makes Sue be quiet about what happened to Mineta, and say that villain just killed him. He doesn't want to be held responsible. He didn't know it was a mistake. But whatever, that's fine. He was a perv in a way, I mean, who will really miss him? Let's be honest here. Come on. God, that's terrible. I mean, he was a pervert, sure, but actually, now that I think about it, I mean, who knows what he did to women? His his sticky balls on his head, they can stick anyone to any place. He can't stick himself. Just just think what he can do to women. Think what he's done to them. So he could have done that. Who knows? You know. So really, in his mind, he was justified in doing that. He was a creep, pervert. I don't know how he even got into UA. Even if by some miracle he got into UA, how the hell did he get how the hell did he get into 1A? Seriously. But you know, whatever. He makes Sue be quiet about it. She understands, you know, exactly where he's coming from, and she kind of agrees as well. So, you know, the heroes come in, you know, save everyone. They get like 2 weeks off. Dorms introduced. Sort of like males and females being split up. They actually do share some rooms. Some of them, you know, they're not just single rooms, but yeah, they actually do share rooms. Some of them have boy and boy, like guys and guys, like one guy and another guy in like one dorm. Some of them have like one girl and another one. But you know, some of them also have like one guy and one girl and another one. You know, it's mixed. Um, yeah, and who Deku gets as a person with him is he gets Jiro. He gets Jiro in his little thing, and yeah. When people start looking through other people's rooms, you know, because I did that. I forgot the reason why. They look through Deku and Jiro's room, and they see like like the left bit of the room is like it's full of guitars and drums and like some rock and metal posters. And on the right side, it's just like a lot of like equipment, like a lot of devices, like phones and tablets, computers, all of that, you know. As well as, you know, immediately, like as well as like a few posters of the Matrix, you know. Deku just couldn't help himself. He loves that movie. I don't know why I had to add that in, but whatever. Um, yeah. So yeah. God, where I was going with this. I forgot where I was going with this since I made the bloody Matrix poster thing. Damn it. Right. They're actually intrigued and a little bit weirded out. Like both sides of the room are very different. You know, you can see that one side is punk rock and the other one, I don't know. They don't even know how to describe the other side. Joe's extremely embarrassed. Well, you know, Deku doesn't care that much. You know, it's a room, and you know what's in the room doesn't really matter. It's someone's interests. You know, if someone makes fun of it, that person's a douchebag, and well, frankly, that's not really cool, man. You're making fun of someone's interest and likes. That's not cool to do. What's wrong with you? So he doesn't really care all that much. Yeah, and you know he tells us to Jiro, and you know she kind of calms down. Everyone else heard what he said, and you know they get it, you know. But since you know they heard what he said, a lot of them like calmed down, because they knew someone's gonna see their rooms, and they were kind of nervous for it, because you know maybe someone will judge them. But after him hearing they heard him say that, they calmed down and said, okay. Maybe I was overreacting a little bit. You know, I should calm down a little bit. You know, it's fine. Yeah. So everyone else got the rooms out of the way, and you know, saw everyone's room. Um. Um. Yeah. And yeah. So I could leave it off here. I mean, it's 34 minutes, and I could leave it here if I'm not thinking of anything. Nah, I should probably keep going just for the fact that it's such a pain to get this app working. Honestly, it's such a pain. It takes me multiple tries. Um, but whatever, it's fine. Yeah. So yeah, we'll time skip again to like 2 more years. So yeah, two more years. You know. Oh no. Well, actually, no, never mind. We'll actually skip 1 more year. See that we do like the whole camp force thing, whatever. Everything basically goes down to canon. Except for instead of Deku using his ultimate almighty smash, he just pushes the guy off a cliff, takes Koda and runs off. He knows the guy isn't dead. Of course he isn't. But he just runs off. So they can escape. He goes up. He tells Mr. Aizawa everything. I call Mr. Aizawa. He's not my teacher. He tells Aizawa everything, and yeah, he even says about suspicions that he isn't killed or even hurt. Matter of fact, he used his muscle. Or maybe he is hurt. I mean, apparently, Koda's parents, who had the ability of a hose, took out his left eye. So maybe a fall off a cliff would hurt him. Maybe the dude was just weak. Maybe because he got his left eye taken out by like a hose, basically. Maybe the dude was just weak, and Deku was just weaker in the anime, in the manga. You're just weaker than a hose. That's funny. But yeah, no. God. We actually will time skip another year. Everyone knows each other. Everyone's pretty cool with each other. Now, some evidence now is coming out that Deku may have killed Mineta. And they try to debunk this, but they just find more and more evidence that he did. Eventually, Deku's thrown out because of this reason. But some people are outraged. I mean, that was like what 3 years ago. I mean, come on. And they try to justify it by saying, murder is still murder. He killed someone. It's still, he murdered someone still. And Sue, you should be out too, because you knew about this and kept your mouth shut. Yeah, and they'll think, dude, he was a creepy pervert with a quirk that could literally restrain women, and who knows what the creep would do to them after that. They get like why they're concerned, but still doesn't care because murder's murder. And then that's all the footage realized he didn't murder, he just killed, which still isn't good. I mean, you could say like murder and killing is still the same thing. But like I like to believe that if you were aware it was going to kill someone and still did it, that counts as murder. But if you weren't aware it was going to kill him, then that just counts as killing someone. I mean, both is still terrible, but like, yeah. So, yeah, everyone's outraged, and they believe it or not, they quit. Some of them quit. Let me tell you who quit. People who quit were Momo, Sue, Kirishima, Mina. So hold on. Kirishima, Momo, Sue, Mina, Shinso, Mei, and maybe some other people that would say, wait, no, Sue was already kicked out. And maybe some other people if I remember them. No, and
and Ida as well. You may be thinking, Ida, why Ida? He loves to be a hero. Well, that's because a Stain arc happened, and Ida wasn't entirely grateful to Deku for helping him out. So he left to support his friend who saved his life. Yeah, so maybe more too. Will leave for Deku. But yeah, I can't think of any right now. Who knows? Maybe that'll be it. Oh, and Jiro as well. That's right, Jiro. So they'll all leave, pack up their stuff, and they go with Deku. Deku then gets an idea. He finds like an abandoned warehouse, which then he fixes up. Like it took like a couple weeks, but he fixes up. He's got beds, electricity, all that good stuff. Yeah. What else there is, he digs through like he actually uses hacker quirk to, kind of hack like bank accounts and all that to get more money. Yeah, he does that. But Dick, I'm not making Deku and all them are villains. Now I'm making them vigilantes. All of them see how rotten like the hero society is, and they're gonna fix it. By being vigilantes and showing the world who the true heroes are, by not just putting criminals who slaughtered, like, let's say hundreds of people, and they just get like a few years of jail time as well, as a fine, and then they get sent free, which then they do it all over again, and the same thing repeats. And and some people, like some citizens, will back the cause up because a lot of them know what they're talking about, but some are also against it, calling them villains, because you're either a hero or villain, because no one knows what the hell an anti-hero is or vigilante is, or even if they did, they wouldn't know the difference, which there is a difference, but whatever. Honestly, so they kind of make their own little thing, like, because like Anonymous, that does exist. Hold on. Anonymous, like that group does kind of exist in My Hero. They're kind of like they're kind of they're kind of anti-heroes themselves. They're vigilantes. Well, vigilantes and anti-heroes, they're kind of different, but whatever. I have to say they're the same, just because my brain goes to one thing, and it's mainly anti-heroes because of Deadpool. Thanks, Deadpool. You, damn it. Yeah, but whatever. Yeah, a year goes by, and they finally thought of their symbol, what they look like, what they're called, and what they do. They are called the Watchers, and this is their symbol. Now, of course, that is kanji, it's Japanese. And it makes sense because, My Hero is Japanese. It's an anime. And also a manga and all that. Yeah, good stuff. So yeah, that's also Japanese. I don't know what it means, but it's good for people, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, they get extremely rich, I mean, they are draining villains' bank accounts, what villains steal. So, villains steal from people, and the Deku steals from the villains, and which fund the Watchers as general, in general. That they wear the mask that glows every time they talk and all that, like the eyes glow, and so it's like the sides and all that. Deku himself, he teaches them how to hack a little bit, So, it doesn't matter if you're like playing a game on your phone, whatever. You will get like their message and see what you're talking about. And if you're, terrible, like, I don't know, you abandon your kids, you beat someone up, you beat like your wife and kids, you're a sex offender. If you're a terrible person, basically, well, not a terrible person, you could be a douchebag but still be safe. No, if you're legally a criminal, you know, if you break the law, they'll come after you. Yeah. So, yeah. So, yeah. So they'll do that. You know, they'll get together. You know, they're all like a big family. They all love each other and all that. They actually do like buy like a mansion with all the money, and move there. So they live there, but like they get the but they leave all their equipment and cloaks and masks all there at the warehouse. So every day they go back to the warehouse and yeah, they do that job. They're really known like out there, like they're really known, and like I'm gonna say like 50% of the population of like Japan is like yo, let's support these guys, Well, the other 50% is like, no, what are you talking about? These are villains. Just like the anonymous people, or whatever they're called, they're evil. Completely missing the point. The villains hate them. Not the villains. Well, yeah, the villains. The villains and heroes hate them. And the anonymous people also kind of hate them too, because, like, they also get paid, They're not doing it for free. They like of course they take from like they steal from the villains, but they also make people pay for their service as well, because they can't just like get to everyone. So if someone really wants someone else to feel the wrath of the Watchers, you gotta pay them. And the anonymous know this, and they are they're angry. They're angry at this, because these people claim to be on the side of justice, but yet they're like mercenaries, but without the killing. You give these people incredible PTSD. Break them emotionally and mentally. They of course don't care. And even if they do have to get hands-on physical, they leave their mark, which of course is this. And yeah, or how they actually are very advanced. So it's so what happens here is basically after they're done, they just kind of like, well, they just put the mark, like they just put permanently on the person's screen, and it can't be taken off. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, of course they would still do it, like with spray paint. If they do it manually, if they're there, they just do it on the wall with spray paint. But yeah, no one tries to impersonate them because they're terrified. I mean, come on, have you heard them? Have you seen them? If you haven't, you should totally check out like this one dude, pretty cool dude. His name is I'm pretty sure his YouTube name is like LT.Lickme I or something. It's Jesus Christ. Yeah, pretty cool dude. He's the one. I'm pretty sure created like this whole thing. Yeah, but back to the whole thing here. Check him out. Pretty cool guy. Yeah, because I'm inside of what they do. Pretty cool. But yeah, just trolls. Yeah, trolls like terrible people. But whatever. So back to this whole thing. Okay. Yeah. So God, what was I saying again? Whatever. Actually, I might just leave it here. No, I'll wait like one more minute, so then it won't stop it and at like an uneven number here, because it's 49 minutes right now. Yeah. I might also just say what I'm doing. So basically, I'm actually creating like a lot of scripts. Like I think like 4 scripts already. Like for like 2 for like what if Deku, but it's also like 2 for what if Naruto. Like I have like seen like some videos on them, but like I never really seen a lot of them like finish it, especially like with 2 of them for What If Naruto. Actually, I'm going to tell you what it is. Well, what they are. It's one of them is What If Deku was the Hulk. The other one is, well, I forgot the other one. But the 2 Naruto ones are What If Deku was an Uchiha and got the curse mark instead of Sasuke, and the other one what if Naruto was a puppet master, control like puppets and all that, like that one dude in Gar's team, but better. But yeah, that's all. So see ya.